Okay, so this is now a tutorial that I'm going to do on how you do streaming to a site like Twitch or YouTube with OBS Studio. So I've not done one of these before, and I'm only able to do this now because I'm using another piece of software to record my screen. So hopefully this goes okay. So I'm gonna try and make this tutorial as simple as possible and use general English here. As you can see, this is OBS Studio. Now, when you first download the software, you won't have any sources, and you won't have any scenes. Now, I'll quickly go over what these are. A scene is basically where you can have several different sources that are going to capture a few different things. And for example, you can have the main scene here, like I call this one here game, and you have the sources here, and you can have another one here that is a be right back one that is just another scene, so you can vary from different scenes, or effectively different kind of pictures, you guess you could say. And sources, that's what allows you to see stuff on the screen. So here I have 3 different sources, one for the game and 2 here that are follower alerts, although I'll go into that later on, or probably in another tutorial, because it's kind of not really relevant right now if you're just starting out. But anyway, let's just imagine the basics here, the absolute basic of I just want to stream with this program. Well, if you just want to stream with this program, the first thing you need to do is bring your mouse over to this side of the program and click on settings here. Brings up this window. Now, under the general tab, we have our language, the theme, check for updates on startup. I would recommend that, as the program is updated quite often. You can check that if you want. It's unchecked by default. I don't really know the advantage of that. You can leave all this unchecked, leave all this at default, and that's personal preference whether you want it in the system tray, the icon. Next, we want to go down to this tab here called Stream. Just click on that. We want to select our stream type, streaming services. Our service is Twitch, and you can also stream to YouTube Gaming or YouTube, Mixer, Dailymotion, Facebook Live, Restream, Smartcast, Smashcast. There's many here that you can stream to. Now with OBS by default, you can only stream to one place, but if you get a program called Restream, which I've seen some people use, you can stream to only one platform. But again, not going to go into that because it's not relevant for this tutorial. Then, after you've selected that, you want to select your server. Now, they've added in this here that I've not seen before, which is automatic. I'm guessing that means it'll know your location, select the nearest. I mean, I live just south of Birmingham in the UK, and you'd think I'd select the London UK server, but I select the Amsterdam server because I often have better luck with it. And now this is your stream key. Now how you would get this is, on Twitch at least, you go to your dashboard and go to the section where it says get stream key, and you click show key. You don't want to show this to anybody, because if you do, you know, anyone could put this stream key in their OBS and stream to your channel without you knowing. So don't ever, you know, accidentally show it on stream or anything like that. Just copy and paste it, leave it in there. Hopefully you'll never have to change it. Okay, that's it for this bit for now. Next is our output setting. Now we have up here, you have simple or advanced. Now I leave this on advanced because it really isn't that advanced, but simply we can ignore recording because we're not recording, obviously. Here you want to select your audio track, which is 1. You have 6 you can choose from, and you just leave this here at default. You should give it a name if you want. Your encoder, you have here X264 NVNCH264, which is encoding through a graphics card. Specifically, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can do that, but if you have an AMD video card, you have to encode for your CPU, unless AMD has a feature I don't know about. But yeah, if you don't have a NVIDIA GPU, you would encode for your CPU, which is using X264. Next, you got the output here. Now, what you want to do here is tick rescale output. You want it at 720 if you want to stream at 720p. If you were going to stream at 480, you put the 480 resolution in here, but you have a few different options. So, all the way up to 1080p if you want, but that would be if you wanted to stream at 1080. Next, we have rate control. CBR is what you want, and your bitrate. Now, I have this set at 3000. How you find out what bitrate you can stream at realistically, you should go to a site, I'll link it in the description, called speedtest.net, and click begin test. It will find you where you are in the world automatically and test your speed. Now, what you're interested in is your upload speed. Now, for every megabyte, I believe it is, of uploads you have, you can stream at 1000 kilobytes per second. But realistically, you wouldn't want to use all of your upload speed. Realistically, you only want to use about half of it. So I have 75 download and about 6 up, and I stream at 3000 kilobytes per second, which is roughly half of it. Well, it is half of that. Now, really, you could set, let's just say, for example, you had 6 upload. Oh no, let's just say you had 1 megabyte per second upload. You would want to ideally set it at 500 kbps, at probably not 720p, probably at maybe 480 perhaps, but we'll ignore the resolution for a second because that doesn't really matter so much. You'd want to set it at 500. Now you could put it at 750 or 800, but you're using then 75% or 80% of your upload. The issue with that is the problem of the potential that you're going to drop frames and your stream is going to lag and start to look pretty bad. So I'd say, especially for the lower upload speed, like 1 or 1.5 or 2, set it at roughly half. If you have more like 3, 4, 5 and 6, set it at roughly half again, and if you feel comfortable, go higher, but be aware if you do that, it's likely you may encounter issues with your stream lagging and dropping frames. Okay, I hope that clarifies that. Your keyframe interval, leave that default. Present is fine. The profile, leave that default. Level, leave that. Leave this all at default. It'll automatically select your main GPU if you have more than one. And leave that at default. I don't even know what B-frames is, if I'm honest. Next, we have to go to our audio. Now here, you can leave that default, unless you want to change it. You can leave this all at default, except perhaps select your microphone and your desktop audio device. And that's about it. And you can enable push to talk and mute and stuff if you want to. And delays for that. Now you notice how it says desktop audio device 2. That would be, and same for microphone auxiliary devices. That would be if you wanted to record to multiple audio tracks, I believe. But if you're just starting out, you won't want to do that. So ignore that. Next, we want to go to our video tab. Now here, this is where what can catch some people out when you go onto their stream and you see they have black borders. This is caused by an improper resolution. So basically, the outputs that Twitch support themselves is 720 and 1080, although very few people stream at 1080 because no real advantage over 720 at all. It's more about the bitrate with the quality. But excluding that, you would set here the base resolution, which is your monitor, which for me is 1080p, and then you select the resolution that you want to stream at, which is realistically 720. Or if it's lower, then you'll select 480 perhaps, or 1096 by 616, or 960 by 540. Leave this at default. So now you can put this up higher if you want, make your stream look even better, but I don't know how much better it would look, and if it's getting lag issues, then perhaps put it on this, but you know, as it says, it's going to be blurry if it's going to scale down. And another important thing is you don't want to scale up, you only want to scale down. For example, if you had a resolution on your monitor of 1366 by 768, not that I don't think anyone owns a monitor that still has that resolution, and you were going to try and stream at 720, you'd actually be okay because it's a lower resolution. But if you're going to try and stream at 1080, you wouldn't want to do it because it would look terrible upscaling. You only want to downscale or have the same resolution. And your FPS, you can have this at 60 or 30 or 24 or 48 if you want. I have it at 60. It looks pretty good at that frame rate, but if you want to have it on 30, it's fine. Either one is fine, and if you're just starting out and you don't have the best internet, then perhaps 60 would be perhaps 30 would be the best solution for you. Next we have hotkeys. Now here, the only hotkey I have here is the num+ key for start and stopping streaming, and the mic to mute it, the num0 key on the numpad. The rest of them, you know, it shows all your scenes here that you can have show this scene and switch to scene hotkeys and stuff, which I've never messed around with, but could be a good idea, I guess. And you have hotkeys here to transition between scenes and go into studio mode that allow you to do stuff in another scene while the viewers see another scene. But yeah, it's basically, and you can play around with this a bit if you want. And then advanced, you want to set this to normal usually, but if you're finding OBS is struggling, then perhaps set it to higher above normal. Leave this at default. All this is fine at default. So is this. So is this. So is this. And this is fine as well. Or you can set if OBS disconnects, you can set the delay when it reconnects to less than 10 seconds if you want, but probably just best advised leave that at default. Leave this at default as well. I don't know what any of this other stuff means. You can tick that if you want. I don't know what that does, but yeah, just leave that all at default and click apply, not cancel. So now we're worrying about our scenes and our sources. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you what you do. You'd usually have a scene that's just called scene when you start out. But if you want to add another one, just right click on this, click add, and just say scene 2, for example. Now there's a few things you can do here. You can add several different things, but if you're starting out, all you really want to worry about is display capture. Just call it that, for example, and it'll capture either your second monitor or your first. Sometimes it's a bit crappy at detecting it sometimes, but I don't know why that is. But usually it will be fine. And the other thing is detecting a game capture. You just click that and let it capture any full screen game, and if you want it to capture the cursor, that's fine, and do all that, and just click that and you'll be able to capture your game now. If I was to launch a game, I might be able to show you, but I'm not going to do that in this. And if you want to delete a scene, just hover over the scene, hit the delete key on the keyboard and click yes. If you want to add in pictures, you just go to add an image, and you would go to add, and then you click image, and you get the option to go select the file directory, and you click OK and it'll show up. And what you want to make sure is that your main source for the scene, like here in the desktop scene, your main source is at the bottom here. So you do that by right clicking down like that. You want it at the bottom so that everything else will show up. If anything is above, if this was at the top, you wouldn't be able to see either browser source or the game capture when it opens up. Here you have your desktop audio and your microphone audio. You can go to filters and properties and stuff. The only one I would advise to do is immediately, and you can set the levels here and mute it and unmute it. Go into here, go into properties, make sure it's selected, and also go into filters and click here and add a filter. Thing I would add is a noise gain and just leave it default open and close threshold and stuff. Click close and your mic won't pick up as much background noise if you have an issue with background noise. The other thing that you probably want to know about if you have more than one scene when you start is studio mode. Now what this allows you to do is the viewers will see this scene, but I can, for example, go into this scene and change something about, and then you can click transition and then come out of studio mode and it will go over to that scene. Unlike in the old OBS when the only way to get around that was to stop streaming if you want to edit a scene. And that's about it. And also these controls down here, you can move your stuff about with that if you want, or just go to the order settings. Now I don't think there's much else I haven't covered here, apart from profiles, which we can ignore. But that's basically it. And to start streaming, you would click here. When you start, it will show your bit rate and how long you've been live for, and your FPS and how much CPU it's using. But that is about it for this tutorial. I think it's gone for apparently 18 odd minutes, but I've gone pretty in detail about it, and so I hope this has helped you. I hope that you understand now what you're doing with OBS, and yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. If you liked the video, then hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. It all helps, it really does. A lot of people think, well, if you click the dislike button on a video, it makes it so the video is unpopular. No, it actually makes it more popular. So, quite ironic, actually. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye for now.